Hi, and welcome back to Focal Point AFR Talk. Number to call, you want to join the conversation, 888-589-8840, talking about religious liberty, prayer in public schools, prayer before football games, Christmas concerts, talking about that whole gamut of things. A president determined to eliminate Christ. It's a war against Christ, not just Christians or Christianity. It's a war against Christ because that's why he objects to these things, because the name of Christ is in the first syllable of all of this stuff, and that's apparently what our president simply cannot handle. He recoils at the sound of the name of Christ, apparently, which is the only reason why you would try to eliminate all mention of his name. And we've seen that Christ is in the Constitution, that Christmas is in the Constitution. Our Constitution dated from the very first Christmas. Now, I'm going to play one sound bite. We followed this New Jersey Senate race between Steve Lonegan and Cory Booker. Cory Booker's been welcome to come on this program, hasn't chosen to avail himself of that. Steve Lonegan's been a guest on this program twice. He's an unapologetic conservative, and he's running an unapologetically conservative campaign. He's going to have Sarah Palin coming and campaigning for him tomorrow. It's going to be the largest grassroots political rally probably in the history of New Jersey. And I want to give you a flavor for how unabashedly conservative Steve Lonegan's campaign has been. I've got a clip here, just a 30-second ad prepared by a Right to Life group in New Jersey, and I want you to listen to Steve Lonegan and how assertive he is in protecting the right of unborn babies to life. Let's listen.
You know that Mayor Booker actually supports taxpayer-funded abortions up to the day of delivery. That's extreme. And if you want to see it, you can go to my website at Lonegan.com. Look at his interview with Cogy Roberts. This man actually took the safe, legal, and fair line out of the Democrat National Committee platform. He supports taxpayer abortions, fund any abortion. In the 8th month of pregnancy, the 7th month of pregnancy, I'm going to be a grandfather. Nobody's going to touch that unborn child. I will defend every human life because we as a society should recognize the value of life. And when you support aborting babies that are viable outside the room in their 7th, 8th month of pregnancy, no matter what, that's barbaric. And this man, he supports it. Okay. That's extremism.
That's the difference here. I support when it comes to a woman's right to choose the law of the land as it is right now, the law of New Jersey. So before he makes up fiction, he should tell his own facts.
When you support aborting babies that are viable outside the womb in their 7th, 8th month of pregnancy, that's barbaric. He supports it.
So there you go. I mean, if you're like me, I just love hearing that, because Republicans are so timid around these issues. They dance around them. They nuance them. They finesse them. Here's Steve Lonegan coming right at Cory Booker. Use the word extreme twice. You're the one that's extreme. You want to allow babies to be aborted up to the moment of birth. That's extreme, and that is barbaric. And he's on the same platform with Cory Booker, and he calls him barbaric right to his face. So that is Steve Lonegan running an unapologetically conservative race for the Senate in New Jersey. And that race is tightening up. I'm seeing more and more articles now, even in the mainstream media. They had written this thing off. Booker's got an insurmountable lead. This is a hopeless cause. Lonegan's got no chance. And now, according to the internal polling data that the Lonegan campaign has, apparently the lead has shrunk to as small as just 3 points, down into single digits. So it could be a real upset. That election date is going to be next Tuesday. All right, let's go to the phones. Let's begin with Chris in Pascagoula, Mississippi. Chris, welcome to Focal Point. What's on your mind?
Hi, Brian. Thank you. You did a great job.
Thank you very much.
I think we ought to start referring to it as the separation of state from church. And, we say church from state, and then we go into how we want the state to be separate from the church. But just that little bit would be the difference. We want the state out of our church, out of our religion,
right,
to be able to be free. And the other thing, I think, on the schools is I really want our churches in mind too, and to support tuition for children and get them out of there. Send them to our Christian schools. We have a church school, and just let the teachers and teachers unions sit around with empty classrooms, and pay for any kids to get out of there and quit spending our money on missionaries. And if we don't save this generation here, we're not going to be able to send people to other countries anyway.
Yeah.
those are my thoughts.
All right, Chris. Well, thank you for that. And Chris is exactly right. I believe in the same wall of separation that Thomas Jefferson believed in. We believe in that. We believe in Thomas Jefferson's wall of separation between church and state, which is a wall to keep the state out of the church. It's not a wall to keep the church from impacting, influencing the state. That's not the point of Jefferson's wall. His wall was to keep the state from interfering in the church. That's a wall that we all believe in. That's the wall that the Constitution erected. So it was Jefferson's wall, which we believe in, was a wall to prevent the state from interfering with the church. It was not a wall. It was intended to keep the church from influencing the state. Very, very important distinction to make. And the other point he made is, public schools depend on fannies in the seats. That's how they get paid. They don't get paid based on what students learn. They get paid on how many students are sitting in a seat when they take roll. That's how they get their dollars. So the way you get to the public schools and get them to start getting their minds right on this stuff is you just take your kids out of them and you homeschool them, you put them in private alternatives, and they lose money. Every time a student transfers out of a public school, the public school loses money. And I think it's fine for parents to say, look, I would love to have my kid in the public school. I don't relish the thought of having to pay twice for my kid's education. And I would be glad to have my child in this school if God had not been taken out of the school curriculum. And so once you put God back in here, you let me know, and I'll bring my kid right back into this curriculum. But I'm not going to expose my kid to an environment where the values that we are instilling in them at home, or in him at home, are going to be shredded 6 hours a day when we bring them in, put them in your custody. All right, let's go to Fanny in Pelham, Tennessee. Fanny, welcome to Focal Point. What's on your mind?
Oh, hi.
Hi.
Hi, I like your expression there, the fannies in the seats.
So
I want to thank you for.
So I wonder if Fanny, when you went to school, if they had to pay double. I mean, they got twice the money because you were one for your name and one because you were there. So anyway, go ahead.
I don't know, but thank you for taking my call. First off, I was going to say that there's my sister-in-law spoke to me the other day, and there's a same situation going on at North Lake Elementary School in Franklin County, Tennessee. And she said that the Freedom from Religion people sent them a letter, and this is a woman that they're volunteers. They're part of the PTO. She's the vice president of the PTO people, because that's the parents' teacher organization. And they have their meetings in the evenings on their own time, own homes, I'm assuming, own homes. But it's nothing to do where there's children or anything. And she always starts the meeting with a prayer. And they heard about it. The organization against the religion heard about it and sent them a nasty letter saying they need to stop. They sent the school a letter, and they asked what will their future deals, what will they do, the steps they will take to rectify the situation, blah, blah. Well, now it's actually gone up to the board members, the elected board members of the county for the school. And 7 out of 8, they had a little meeting Monday night. 7 out of 8 said, well, I don't think we're going to change anything. We'll just reply that we don't have any actions. We're not doing anything. We're just going to let it go.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I'm hoping that'll all wash, and I hope that they will stand. But if anything were to happen, like if they pursue it and stuff like that, where would be the best place for us to go to get?
Well, you would jot down these names because you'd want to go to one of these First Amendment law firms that specialize in religious liberty. You'd want to call the Alliance Defending Freedom, ADF, Alliance Defending Freedom. Call Liberty Counsel, that's COUNSEL, Liberty Counsel. Or you could call the Liberty Institute in Texas. Kelly Shackelford, my good friend, is the head of that organization. Matt Staver heads up Liberty Counsel. A lot of great guys at Alliance Defending Freedom. So ADF, Liberty Counsel, or Liberty Institute. All three of these are top-notch, top-cabin, first-tier religious liberty First Amendment law firms, and they would be happy, I believe, if they had resources available to defend the First Amendment rights of everybody involved. You know, and it's a reminder, too. I mean, this is a sad thing, but it's a reminder, Fanny, that, look, the forces of secular fundamentalism, they are not content with live and let live. I mean, what could be more innocuous than concerned parents praying in a private home for their school, for their students, for their teachers. And these people are so tyrannical that they don't even want to permit that. I mean, they want to expunge any expression of Christian faith if it is even remotely connected to a public institution. That's how rabid they are. And that's why we can't retreat. That's why we can't even give 1 inch. You can think, well, it's just kind of innocuous. I can go ahead and kind of give this thing up, and we'll just kind of pull back a little bit, and we'll do our thing here. Well, now you're pulled back about as far as you can get into a private home, and they're not even content to leave you in peace there. All right, Fanny. Well, go ahead. You had another thought?
Like I said, I thought it was a private home, as I understood it, because it was, story told to me. But the only other thing I was going to say is that, I just had a comment on the abortion thing, the whole abortion thing. They say it's for health for women. Well, I've never known pregnancy to be a disease anyway. So just a thought there. Thank you so much for having the call.
Okay. Well, you're welcome, Fanny. Thank you for that. And speaking of the war against women, the war against women is being waged by liberals. The liberals are saying it's conservatives that are waging a war against women. It is absolutely, flatly wrong. It's liberals that are waging the war against women. In California, the governor has just signed a law that will allow non-physicians will allow them to butcher babies in the womb and maim the lives of the mothers who carry them. That's where your war against women ends. Liberals in California allowing non-physicians to butcher girls in the womb and maim the mothers who carry them. There is your war against women. My mantra is equal rights for unborn women. Focal Point, AFR Talk. We'll be back after the news. Don't go anywhere.
American Family Radio.
AFR Talk. I'm Diane O'Neill, Director of the AFA